How good is the Harley-Davidson Pan America 1250 Limited in model year 2026, and how fast does it go around our course? That is exactly what we are going to answer in this video. Yes, the Best Time season 2026 is now officially open. I do not know whether the chronology will end up being completely correct, and I also do not know whether we will upload the videos in precisely the right order, but this here is the first motorcycle that I am riding in 2026 on our Best Time lap time course. The nice thing for you is that I am riding it in direct comparison with several adventure bikes, and all of them are fitted with the same Bridgestone T33 tires. That makes this test extremely practical and very useful for comparison. The asphalt temperature is 11 degrees, so you really do have to develop a good feeling for what is going on underneath you. And that is also the question we are looking at together today. What kind of feeling do I get from the Harley-Davidson Pan America 1250 Limited? How much of its potential can I actually use? How much lean angle can I allow myself? How early can I open the throttle when I have only 10 laps available and when the April temperatures are still properly frosty? So that you can place it correctly, I am riding this bike on the same day as the KTM Super Adventure, the BMW GS, and the Ducati Multistrada 5/4 Rally. The videos for those bikes will also appear later. And when you climb onto this bike, I was already pleasantly surprised just by getting on it, because the adaptive ride height is genuinely very pleasant. You get on, and despite the large and bulky dimensions, you immediately have a comfortable and reassuring feeling in the saddle. That already gave me a lot of confidence. The same goes for the seating position and for the handlebar. Even though this is a heavy, large and powerful motorcycle, and even though I still have a bit of winter rust in my bones, I felt good on it. I built up trust quite quickly, and I really had that feeling of joy. Right, now we are going to get on with it. Now we are going to ride a motorcycle in a sporty way. And this balancing act between having a touring concept from Harley-Davidson, with which I feel I could ride the whole of Highway number 1 without ever getting off, combined with this mischievous enjoyment of sporty motorcycle riding, is something Harley-Davidson manages pretty well with this bike. That is down to the good ergonomics, but also to the accessible engine. Once again, on my Best Time laps here in Bad Fischau, on the Supermoto track, it became clear that this linear engine can be used in a very practical way. At the top end, you have around 150 PS, but down in the lower ref range, you do not have any sharp, brutal or sudden power delivery. Instead, you can come onto the throttle very pleasantly and very linearly, you can regulate it well, and you can control the bike with it. That gives you a lot of confidence. What does not work perfectly here in these very tight corners, and what I noticed today, is the gear change from first into second gear in combination with these very strict Euro 5+ emissions regulations, where the engines tend to run relatively lean. During that gear change, and when you then pick up the throttle again, there is a small challenge in the throttle response. For me, I solved it by riding everything here in second gear. That made it easier to meter the power, and I avoided those fine load change reactions. Because here we are talking about tenths of a second, hundredths of a second, and thousandths of a second. For me, The better approach was therefore to iron out this critical point, this tiny nuance that is not quite perfect in the throttle response at very low revs by simply riding in second gear. The next thing that stood out during these 10 laps was that you need around 3 to 4 laps for the tires to get up to temperature. I would estimate that, although estimating is always difficult, but we can also see it in the table because we have already ridden more than 100 motorcycles. When the asphalt temperature drops below 15 degrees, even touring tires start to face a bit of a challenge. You will see that in the lap times. They will not be quite fully competitive compared with other motorcycles, but they are extremely comparable with the other motorcycles that I'm riding today on the same day, under the same conditions. How do those bikes deal with this challenge? I am really looking forward to seeing that. What works very well from my point of view is the vibration level and the general engine refinement. I found it very easy to concentrate on the thing that actually matters here, namely hitting my line. I hope you can see in the video footage that with the T33, which of course also contributes a lot as a good and sporty tire from Bridgestone, I really managed to choose a very nice line. I hope you can see in the onboard shots that I caught the inside line cleanly and that I was able to ride in a really clean and precise way. And we have to mention it again, we are talking here about a heavy motorcycle with a lot of power and a lot of torque at the start of the season at an asphalt temperature of 11 degrees. That also speaks in favor of the bike because despite its voluminous dimensions, it is a very accessible overall concept. With very sporty riding, I noticed for the first time today that, and maybe I am just a bit weak at the moment, the braking power could be a little more sporty for my taste. I think I left a bit of time lying around in the braking zones. I believe the other bikes will deliver more brutality there today. What I personally found pleasant today was the balance of the chassis in the tight radii as well as in the wider radii. I always had the potential to go onto the throttle when I wanted to. I could aim nicely for the line, and I always had a wonderful sense of balance from the motorcycle. For this test, of course, we removed the luggage system that is included with the Limited. I will now do a short seat test for you, although you always have to be careful with that, because depending on whether the motorcycle is switched on or switched off, and whether adaptive ride height is active or not, the whole thing can always look a little different. I am 1.84 meters tall, and when I now sit on the bike, the knee angle is naturally very comfortable. I can get my feet down safely, and the same confidence is there while riding. It is a motorcycle that brings joy on long tours. As I said here on the racetrack, if you lean your upper body forward a little, you can also deliver wonderfully sporty performance. I really felt very comfortable today. In comparison, when I later put this motorcycle directly against other adventure bikes, it will probably be the case that it can hardly win any comparison test outright. Every one of the other motorcycles has better qualities somewhere. It will probably not sit right at the top of many ranking lists. But from my point of view, nobody will get off this bike and say, I did not enjoy that or it did not suit me at all. This is a motorcycle that is accessible, comfortable, and at the same time genuinely sporty to ride. And if you are a fan and friend of the Harley-Davidson brand, then that is obviously a huge plus point for you because now you also have such a cool and enjoyable motorcycle in this vehicle category. Overall, I am excited to see where it places in the best timetable. This time, please pay very close attention to the asphalt temperatures when you compare it with other motorcycles. I think we have only ridden once before in temperatures this low, and that was 5 years ago. You absolutely have to take that into account. I am curious to see how much effect it will have on the lap time and how much time I left on the table because the asphalt simply was not fully usable today. Folks, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, and of course feel free to leave your opinion on the Harley-Davidson down below.